I shot, like what? You know what I'm saying? I shot like what? And what I shot like what? I was in Colombia recording songs. Like, I did like what? And then I went straight to Colombia to remove some of my ass shots, right? While I was in Colombia, I had this really weird sadness that I was like, no matter, like, I want to continue to follow with my plans, but I was so depressed that I couldn't continue with my plans like I wanted to. I came back from Colombia and I shot the music video for Enough. And we did the whole promo plan and we did everything, but I wasn't really confident and I didn't really feel good in myself. Then after that, I went to LA to continue to finish my album, to keep doing music on my album and doing a lot of promo because Enough is like coming out and we're doing promo. And like I said, I was so depressed and I felt so empty in the inside. And it wasn't easy because, like, not only I'm not sure where I'm like locked out in my creative site, like in my head. I feel like I have bitches jumping me. All these bitches. That's why I don't fucking like a lot of these female rappers, because when I was going through some shit, these bitches felt like they could attack me when I was in my lowest. I ain't never gonna forget though. I do owe y'all bitches a hard time, but I don't even make it a priority. Like, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna get over that. But when I was going through a hard time, you bitches was trying to put me through it. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is 2024. I did a lot of plans for 2024, the beginning of 2024. But I was in such a depressed state that I couldn't continue. Then I found out I was pregnant. And I found out
Cardi B just revealed she was battling depression during her Like What and Enough Miami era, and the internet is spiraling because fans believe this completely changes how we understand that moment in her career. Because word on the street is, what looked like a simple delay, a quiet rollout, or even a strategic pause at the time was actually something much deeper happening behind the scenes. Cardi herself admitted that things became so overwhelming, it disrupted her entire album rollout. Now, think about that. At the height of visibility, when the industry machinery expects constant output, consistency, and momentum, she was reportedly dealing with something internal that no one could fully see. And that's where the narrative shifts, because suddenly, what people once criticized or questioned starts to make sense. But what fans noticed next is where things really get interesting. The contrast. Because fast forward 2 years, and the same Cardi B who says she was struggling is now on a sold-out tour and running a sold-out business venture. That kind of turnaround, it doesn't just happen overnight. It tells a story, a bigger one that fans are now piecing together in real time. And that's why this moment feels different, because it's not just about success, it's about what came before it. But the best moments don't end there, because look at what happened next. Fans started reacting emotionally, not just casually commenting, but really connecting. Some people are saying this explains everything, that the energy, the silence, the gaps, it all lines up now. Others are going deeper, sharing their own experiences, relating to what it feels like to go through something heavy while the world expects you to keep showing up like nothing's wrong. And that's when this stops being just celebrity news and starts becoming something personal. Because when someone at that level opens up about something like depression, it breaks the illusion that everything is always perfect behind the scenes. It exposes the pressure, the expectations, the weight of constantly being on. But what fans noticed next is where things really get interesting: the Offset connection. Because even though Cardi didn't directly place blame, fans didn't hesitate to draw their own conclusions. Some comments are straight up saying Offset had her stressed, suggesting that her relationship played a role in what she was going through. Now, again, that's not something Cardi confirmed, but perception, that's already forming, and once the internet decides on a narrative, it spreads fast. Some people are even framing her current success as freedom, like this new era, this sold-out tour, this thriving business is happening because she's no longer in the same emotional space she was back then. And that idea, it's gaining traction. But here's where things get even more layered, because not everyone is turning this into relationship analysis. Some fans are focusing purely on her resilience. They're pointing out how she went from feeling overwhelmed and disrupted to building something successful and stable. They're calling it a comeback, a glow-up, a transformation. And those words, they matter, because they shift the focus from struggle to strength. But at the same time, there's another layer underneath that, a quieter one. The realization that even people at the top can go through moments that completely derail their plans. And that doesn't get talked about enough, especially in an industry full of gatekeeping, where vulnerability can sometimes be seen as weakness. But Cardi choosing to speak on it, that's a different kind of power. Because she's not just showing the highlight reel, she's showing the interruption, the part where things didn't go as planned. And that honesty, it's what's making this moment resonate. But what fans noticed next is where things really get interesting, the timeline itself. Because when you line everything up, the music releases, the slowed momentum, the shift in energy, it starts to look less like inconsistency and more like someone trying to navigate something difficult while still being in the spotlight. And that's not easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest things to do, to keep performing, keep creating, keep showing up, while internally things feel off. And that's why this revelation is hitting differently, because it adds context, it adds depth, it changes the story. But the best moments don't end there, because look at what happened next. Fans started celebrating her current success even more, not just because it's impressive, but because of what it represents. They're saying things like, once we pass the hardest times, we get blessed 10x, turning her journey into something motivational, something hopeful. And that shift, it's powerful, because now her story isn't just about struggle or success, it's about both at the same time. And that duality is what makes it real, because life doesn't move in straight lines, it moves in phases. Ups, downs, recoveries, and reinventions. And right now, Cardi B seems to be in that reinvention phase, a space where everything that once felt heavy is being transformed into something lighter, something stronger, something more controlled. And whether that's tied to her personal life, her professional choices, or just her internal growth, it's working. Because people are paying attention, people are connecting, people are seeing her differently. And that's the real impact of a moment like this. Not just the headlines, but the shift in perception. So now the question becomes, was this always part of her journey, or is this a turning point that changed everything? Because depending on how you look at it, this could either be a chapter that explains the past or the beginning of something completely new. And maybe it's both. Maybe the struggle was necessary for